This is Daytona's Surf.
Here's the big finish. And the clapping, yes. there was people there, Del.
There was people there. Occasionally, rock hard music used to have these little soirees with people in, and it might have been one of the guitar demo evenings. I think that was, showing off various new guitars and things in the store.
Yeah, that was fun. That was. Yeah. Wires all over the bleeding place to record it too. So,
it's quite something, really. I mean, it's when you say to somebody you're doing a little show in a music shop, it isn't just a music shop as such, because it is like when it's all, a lot of the gear is cleared to one side. It's as big as
it's a pain in the bum
as any venue.
It's a complete pain in the bum setting up for it.
It's got a little stage on it, and PA is set up all right, and I suppose you'd get about 50 people in there a push, I guess.
Well, I think the most we ever had in there was about 70, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
It was mad, absolutely mad, but it was fun. Yeah. It was fun. I think that was had to be one of yours, one of the first ones you did in there. I think because you done 2 or 3, didn't you?
I remember it was quite packed, because it might have even been that one that you just played, actually, because I can remember being on the stage, which is not the biggest stage in the world, and people right up to me, sort of thing.
Yeah, looking up your nose.
But it's nice. Well, and they don't really want to look up my nose, because there's not a lot to see except darkness.
Just don't put a light up there. You'll see straight through.
You got it.
Oh, is that me? I don't know. Right. So the last one we're doing today, Uncle Del, is the Ballad of JD, but the slightly different version.
Right, okay.
Because the original version was fine, but it just lacked something. When you record stuff, you go, yeah, that's good, and then listen to it later and you go, actually, we could improve that.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me with this song a few months ago. It's like, oh no, I can make that better than that. I can make that better than that.
Ballad of JD revisited, eh?
Yeah, kind of. And I remember we did what's that? The place in Bedford.
Esquires.
Yes, did Esquires, and it was the week my dad died.
Right. Okay.
I vaguely remember, and you kindly dedicated this song to my daddy.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, that's it. I do remember now. Yeah.
But
bless him.
Yeah, silly old sod. He did like a odd tipple of Mr. JD himself sometimes, but he was a Guinness man, my dad.
Yeah.
And going to what Michael asked me on the Feces book a little while ago, my dad and you, or kind of, knew the same people many moons ago.
Yes, that's right. A famous twins over in East London. Yes, and their older brother. Yeah,
and
that's quite true.
And nothing to do with fish.
No, or building motorways.
Yes, them as well.
We were being managed by somebody in the 70s, and that person was getting involved. It was like frying pan into the fire in retrospect, but
yes.
He was getting more involved with, shall we say, some Italian gentlemen in and around New York, which I'd also met, and he wasn't really being able to manage us properly, shall we say. So he actually said at the time, our manager Wolf Pine was used to work for the famous Don Arden, which was Sharon Osbourne's dad, And so Don Arden had Jet Records and that, so I got invited down there to Jet Records to meet Don Arden. I was there 2 or 3 times. I never actually got to see him because he was always having an argument on the phone with somebody. This particular time I went down there, and the A&R man said to me, guess who's coming in today? I said, who? He said, Charlie Cray. I said, you're joking? He said, no. So Charlie, I'm sitting there, and also Charlie Cray walks in, and I thought, what can you say about that? He'd just come out of prison, and he'd written his book, and he wanted to get the book published. And to cut a very long story short, we've been sitting there for a while, and he just said to me, how long you been here, boy? And I said, I've been here about an hour and a half, actually. I said, but it's not the first time. I've been down here several times. And he said something like, I'm not really used to being kept waiting. I know some people in the music business. I think we should go and have a meet. So I went, okay then. And then he said, have you got a car? I said, yeah. So he said, can you give me a lift home? So I said, yeah, all right then. Now, I lived in West London at the time. I said, where do you want to go? He said, can you drop me off at my mum's at Bethnal Green? Complete opposite side of the What am I going to say? No?
Yes, Charlie. Of course, Charlie. Absolutely. Yeah.
And as I'm driving down the road, I'm sort of 20-something, thinking to myself, no one is ever going to believe I've got Charlie Cray sitting in the front of my car. And so just going forward, ourselves and this other music mogul decided to, wouldn't it be great publicity if Charlie Cray comes out of prison, launches his book and manages a rock band called Stray? On paper that sounded great, and we made the front page of the newspaper, we got on the television. But do you think we could get a gig anywhere? We got a couple of gigs and no one would touch us because every bloody agent was shit scared that they were going to get beat up, have their legs broken.
Yep. That's the way it works, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually it backfired on us, and there was no real contract, and actually Charlie was a lovely bloke. Despite the name, he wasn't actually involved in any of the activities that his brothers were. He got put inside because at the time in the 60s, this is the story I'm going to tell you anyway.
Go on then.
They were the police, the government, all these people in officialdom decided they needed to get all of the Crays off of the street. And Charlie was in the music business, interestingly enough. He used to look after the likes of Judy Garland, represent actors like George Raft.
Oh, so he did actually know what he was doing most of the time.
Yeah. Well, he was from from the music and entertainment background, but obviously things had changed in the 5 years or so since he'd been away. And not only that, as soon as you mentioned the name Cray,
right.
Kiss of Death for a band,
Absolutely.
But he was running a club in London, and the twins were going to be doing one of their deals in the club. Somebody, as they say, grasped them up, or right. Told the police that there was going to be a deal being done in this club. So the twins got life for all their misdemeanors, and Charlie, he got I think it was about a 7-year sentence, which was reduced to about 5.
Right.
Being an accessory because the deal was being done on his property.
Huh?
And that's the reason why Charlie got put away.
People, eh?
So there you go.
Right, Ballad of JD.
Okay.
This took some planning for you, didn't it? Because you had to actually look stuff up to get historically almost correct.
Well, the funny thing was, when I write a song, normally it's magic stuff. It just comes from out of nowhere. I don't know. Right. I can't explain it. But with this one, it's one of those few songs where I had the idea for it for some time, and it was really bugging me because I thought the actual little riff and the harmony vocal, but the melody.
Yep.
had something which maybe for some reason kept going back, thinking it was like an very American traditional sounding tune.
Yes.
And I think I may well have been thinking about this while drinking one of my favourite tipples.
Under the influence, I think the phrase is.
How dare you, sir?
It's that little case you take on tour with you, mate. That's what it is.
So anyway, I was sitting there and thinking to myself, I like this drink, but I don't know an awful lot about the man himself. And when I looked up Wikipedia, I found that he was one of several children, and he was quite young when he decided to venture into the alcohol business, and he made the Jack Daniels thing and drink, which I and many others of us like. I know you like Jim Beam and a bar of chocolate together.
Yes, but, Jim Beam and a bar of chocolate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but anyway, and there was a couple of little funny stories. One of them, which is on the second verse of it, where he was a bit absent-minded, and one day he couldn't remember how to get into his safe.
Yes,
and he kicked it so hard that he hurt his foot, and I think he broke his toe, and for the rest of his life, he always had pain in the toe, and the only way he could get any relief was to dip his toe in a glass of Jack Daniels. So it just goes to prove it did have medicinal purposes as well.
Yeah, I could just imagine people dipping other bits of their body into Daniels or Beam or whatever to stop the pain.
That's enough. Yeah. Anyway.
It cures all ills.
It's the Jack Daniels travelling chemist show or whatever.
Absolutely. Right, time has got to us. I will be if you want to hear this or parts of it again, we'll be putting it up on Feces Book later without the music, because they won't let me put the music up.
Nigel, it's been very nice talking to you again, mate.
Well, thank you, darling.
I hope you and all our listeners are keeping well under the circumstances.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're
troubled
out there.
Times.
Yeah, we'll be right. We'll get through it. We'll get the other side and do stranger things later.
Yeah, and I do happen to have a bottle of Jack Daniels here, so there you go. I'll drink to you as we're playing it.
All right then, mate. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon, Dale.
No problem. Speak to you again soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Dale Bromham. Yay!
Hey!
And this is the slightly remixed version of the Ballad of JD, available on the 9 Yards album. We'll be back in a bit.
This is Daytona's Surf.